In spite of strong interest from major record companies, the Smiths signed with the independent label Rough Trade. Morrissey was able to have complete control over their record sleeves, which featured a series of cover stars rather than the group itself. Many people had expected the group to sign with the Manchester label Factory, which had embodied the city's musical image since the late 70s.
It was absolutely crucial that we didn't sign to Factory Records. Without putting down, not giving them, discrediting them for anything that they've done in the past, because they have been very important. But you've got to understand that their time was a few years before mine. I wasn't a punk rocker. It meant nothing to me, I was too young.
I think it's quite typical of newer groups to retaliate and laugh at the previous generation somewhat and do completely the opposite, whatever that may be and whatever it may entail. And within the Smiths, there was certainly a great deal of that, because within the Manchester area, quite obviously, Factory was the establishment.
The Smiths quickly achieved a degree of success that was unprecedented for a band on an independent label. They produced a stream of hit singles and albums, and also became one of the most popular and powerful live acts in the country.
I felt that we had something that was ours exclusively. Image-wise, beads, a certain kind of femininity, and something which was no one else could really grasp, and which was like totally ours, and which belonged not to like just Manchester young people, but to my friends.
I thought it was quite important to come forth and confront people and to look people in the eyes and say quite specific, strong things, instead of poetic, esoteric, veiled things that people needed streams of notes to understand. It was very important just to say, but with words, of course.
This beautiful creature must die. This beautiful creature must die. A death for no reason, and death for no reason is murder. And the flesh you so fancifully fry is not succulent, tasty or kind. It's death for no reason, and death for no reason is murder. And the card that you carve with a smile, it is murder.
Once it gets into people's living rooms, and it's curious, and it's not instantly definable, and instantly not able to instantly categorize it, people get confused and unfriendly.
Once a band that has started out on the programmes that I do, or on the programmes that Kid Jensen and now Janice Long do, starts to achieve some kind of success outside that kind of nighttime Radio 1 area, it's very convenient for DJs and producers who don't like it to say, oh, well, this is a kind of John Peel band, and therefore to not programme the records.
I think the Smiths are possibly the only group who has been continually successful in a chart sense without the aid of daytime radio. And now things do not improve because daytime radio DJs are perfectly aware of the fact that the Smiths exist in a world that's totally separate to theirs.
Because the music that they constantly play, it says nothing to me about my life. And the blessed DJ, because the music they constantly play. On the lead side street it just slipped down, the provincial towns you jog round. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ.
When you move in such a pleasantly smooth and monotonously organised institution, if you like, and if you don't really quite flow with that, you do seem to be, shall we say, a troublemaker. It's like all those old film stars who had their own notions about what they wanted to do. They were box office poison because they really knew how this film should go. And anybody who has any degree of inner control over their own art, well, it's hard really to fit them into the pop world because obviously the pop world, quite sadly, is one of little depth, shall we say.
This summer, at the peak of their success, Johnny Marr left the Smiths. After several weeks of uncertainty, the group officially split up. It was the end of the most original English band of recent years.
I always felt, and I don't, this was a couple of years ago when the four of them were together, that there was a three. And there was Morrissey, and it wasn't a very uncomfortable difference, but there were differences. Johnny is he's not straightforward anything. He's an incredibly sharp, very, very sharp kiddie, as he would probably refer to himself as, and is a great guitar player. I mean, he is one of the last of the guitar heroes, And I mean, he's been asked to do sessions for Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood and all the old hags. Well, I have to answer just totally personally from Johnny Marr's point of view. Being very selfish, I write for myself. I do write for the group, and we constantly try and impress each other, which is of utmost importance because we value each other's opinions. I don't think there's anyone better, and vice versa. But no, I've always written for myself.
The way I see the whole spectrum of popular music is that it is slowly being laid to rest in every conceivable way. Even when you look at Madonna, I mean, Madonna I don't think could ever happen again, a Madonna figure. It seems like the final female pop icon, if you like. I mean, what could follow Madonna in that sense? So with the Smiths on another level, I really do think it is true. I think this is really more or less the end of the story. Ultimately, popular music will end. I mean, that must be obvious to almost anybody. And I think these, the ashes are already about us if we could but notice them.
Stop me if you think that you've heard this one before. Stop me, stop me. Stop me if you think that you've heard this one before. Nothing's changed. still love you, oh, I still love you. Only slightly less than I used to.